Let's talk today about the number of pages that should be inside of your notebook. Now, we talk a lot about planners and journals, and that's really more about the table of contents. If you have a dated versus undated, should you do a weekly versus a daily or monthly format? And that pretty much takes care of how many total pages will be inside said planner or journal. But when it comes to notebooks, it's really more about the number of pages, whether those are blank pages, line pages, or dot grid. So that's probably something that you're going to have as a question once you send your finished product off to a printer. And it's always a wonder, like you start looking around, what do other people have? What don't other people have? Should I put a pocket folder in there? So we're going to talk all about that today. I have 6 criteria for you to think through in determining the total number of pages that should be inside of your notebook. Now, remember, if you would like to create your own notebook, make sure to sign up for Notebook 101. I will leave a link to that workshop below, and let's get started. Hi everyone, I'm Lisa from Pretty Fabulous, and I help online businesses create beautiful digital downloads using Adobe InDesign. So if this sounds like you or something you might be interested in, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. I post new videos every Monday and Thursday, and I do unboxings on Saturdays. Now, I told you we were going to go through 6 different criteria on what to think about when you're creating your notebook. Now, if you'd like notes on that, I created a handy dandy checklist for you below. But the first thing you want to think about is simply the terminology. So I call this a sheet of paper. Some people may call this a page. So it doesn't matter if you are talking to a printer or your end customer, you want to make sure you're both using the same definitions, because I can tell you right now, there is no industry standard per se. Everyone just says it differently. So this is in general a sheet of paper. This is one page, and on the other side is another page. So this is one sheet, also known as 2 pages. When you are selling something online, you will actually see a lot of vendors use these terms interchangeably. So the best thing that I would do is, one, I would make sure when you talk to your printer, you are saying, when I say a sheet of paper, this is a sheet of paper that's front and back, right? Like really easy, just get that out of the way. When you are talking to your end customer in your product description, I would actually put both numbers down. So I would say this is 120 sheets of paper. And then I'd put in parentheses, this is also 240 pages. And consumers can do the math pretty quickly. They can double the number, but they don't have to think about it. You don't have to tell them, here's my definition of a sheet versus a page. They kind of get it right away. I always advise putting both numbers. You can never go wrong. Don't worry about giving too much information. You should always be worried about a poor customer experience when they receive said notebook and they thought it was 140 pages, but really it's only 70 sheets of paper. So does that make sense? You know what I mean? It's like bigger or smaller than they thought it would be. All right, so that's the first thing. The second thing to think about is size. So the size of your notebook will determine how many pages you should put inside of there. So a larger notebook like this is in 10, I think this is a 9 by 12, should have more pages in it than a smaller A5 notebook. These are one of, I think this is the Erin Condren one, but it's pretty much the same size as the plum paper ones. And those only have 60 sheets in them, also known as 120 pages. And it works out great, but that's because this is smaller versus this one. You're probably going to have to double that and put about 160 or 170 pages in here to make it look aesthetically correct, because otherwise it's going to look out of proportion. And the problem with that is if it looks out of proportion, and you get a big, huge notebook and it just has a couple pages in it, you're going to feel cheated. Like, I can't believe I paid all this money for this notebook and if there's no pages in it, right? Even though it has the same number of pages as something that costs less, but just happens to be smaller, it just seems like a better value to the customer. So that's the second thing you need to think about. The third thing you want to think about is the extras. So are you going to put pocket folders in there? Are you going to put tab dividers? Are you going to add maybe a direction page that's cardstock, a reorder page at the back? All of these things take up space, and in theory, they could help make a large notebook like a 9 by 12, bulk it up and make it look a little thicker without adding too many pages. Or it can take a small notebook and overinflate it where it is too difficult to open the pages and there's just too much stuff in there. I will say The biggest thing is don't let people, this is an extra tip, just don't let people pick the number of pages in their notebook. It sounds like a great idea, but they don't know what is going to look good or not look good. And I've seen Golden Coil does this. And I remember buying my Golden Coil the first time and I was like, I want 264 pages because that's the max that I can get. And I feel like, first of all, I think they're like $80. I was like, I want the maximum number of pages because this thing is so expensive, but it was so big and bulky. I could barely turn the pages. They'd get stuck. It couldn't fold back on itself. It was just awful. So you don't want that negative customer experience with your notebooks. Just have a preset number of pages. So now that I've gone off on that tangent, let's go to number 4, which is the cover. Covers here, again, the chipboard with the corners looks great on a planner or a journal. I would advise not to do that on a notebook, only because the prettier your cover is, the less likely it's going to be used. And I know that sounds a little counterintuitive, but I have a planner from Poppin. It's gorgeous. It's velvet. It looks beautiful, but it's so pretty. I don't want to use it because it's almost like a collector's item. And if I don't use it, and then I will never reorder for more notebooks from Poppin because I already have one and it's kind of just a nice display case and I don't want to write in it or ruin it. So I would say notebook covers are great to make it pretty, but I wouldn't go through any extra with the materials, right? So just to be clear, a pretty cover is a must, but material wise in, having velvet, having a chipboard, like all of those fancy things is overkill for a notebook, because in general with planners and journals, you can do those beautiful covers and people like keeping them to reference where they were, or maybe they've used a ton of stickers in there and they're like, I just think it's so pretty, I want to keep it. And with the notebooks, usually they're used and they're discarded. And so it's nice to have a pretty cover, but if it's too fancy in terms of material, you don't want to use it and you want to keep it forever. So that's the thing I will say about covers for notebooks. And the fifth thing you want to think about is GSM. So how thick is your paper? 100 is pretty much the gold standard. If you want to go lower than that, it's obviously less expensive. I could just see you doing 70 or 80, but any lower than that, and it's so paper thin, it's going to feel you're going to have a lot of issues with ghosting or people using ballpoint pens. It's going to press and make an impression not only on the other side, but possibly future pages underneath that. So definitely try to go for 100. If not, 70 is acceptable. 120 is, I know it sounds like it's going to be better, but that's actually, because with notebooks, again, I think it's too thick, especially 140, because then people are less likely to use it. It feels almost like you have this mini card stock inside of there, and it's so precious, you don't want to waste that paper. So again, 100 is usually what you want to go for. Now, the sixth thing to think about is what are the standards that are out there. So like I said, if you're going to make a square size notebook like this, 80 pages is pretty standard, 60 to 80. If you have a larger one, like a 9x12, I would double that number. And that's pretty much it. But either way, if you are doing, let's say, a hardbound notebook, or I guess this is a softbound notebook, then you probably want 140 to 160 pages. But always make sure to order a sample for yourself so you can feel the weight, see how it feels to you with the number of pages. Plus, you're going to want a notebook anyway to take some product photos. So it's always a good idea to test those out ahead of time. And quite honestly, they're not like planners. They're pages of blank paper, so you can use them even if it's not perfect. It's still paper. So let's recap that list really quick. I gave you 6 different things. The first one was think about the terminology. The second thing is think about the actual size and dimensions of your notebook. And the third one is think about extras like folder pockets and tab dividers. And the fourth one is your cover. Don't make it fancy. The fifth is think about paperweight. 100 is the gold standard. And the sixth and last thing is the standard number of pages. And I will put all of that information into the handy dandy checklist for today. All right, I hope that gave you some good ideas. And remember, if you are interested in the notebook workshop, make sure to sign up below, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.